Man, recapping off of one of the biggest stories of probably the last 2 to 3 years, it seems like, man, because I feel like this was one of the longest drawn out trials and cases to get to the verdict ever almost, man. But speaking of the Tory and Meg case, back in December, Tory was found on all three accounts. I can't specifically remember all of them in detail, but yeah, man, he's facing up to, I believe, 22 years. The sentence, if it already hasn't dropped, it should be coming sometime soon. I feel like immediately that case, like, just even before it even was a case, it was already drawing like a divide between specifically just genders, with just all the narratives going around it. You know what I mean? You definitely got the crowd that's gonna say protect black women, and to just, I guess, believe blindly what one side is saying without investigating it. I was more so on the side of just like letting all the details and go to trial before I made any, I guess, hard takes or harsh takes. I don't think it's really, it wasn't even a matter of having a take for me. It was just a matter of seeing what all happened and from that pulling the best judgment for what people were saying as far as like lying or telling the truth or not. So I think still today, like, even though the verdict is what it is, I think it's not necessarily telling the true story. And I do expect an appeal to come. But like, what was y'all immediate takeaways and just the whole ordeal as it was going on, and now the end of the result is what it is?
I got on the phone with Kenny once it happened, and I was shocked at the verdict. And that wasn't because I was. I mean, you know, I'm for truth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, if he did it, if he didn't do it, I was shocked because everything that I was seeing, everything that I was like, even the updates leading up to the final verdict, right? All the different, like, you know, the different tweets and stuff like that we were seeing on Twitter. It seemed as if Tory was gonna walk out of there with not guilty. Yeah. That's just what. So when I open up my phone and I see, you know, Shade Room or whoever posts like, yo, Tory's guilty on all three accounts, I was like, what? Because from the info, one of the biggest things I saw was like, yo, there's no DNA on the gun, right? Tory's DNA is not on the gun. And I was like, okay, bet. And then, you know, like, her friend was saying this, and then they couldn't find the bodyguard, and then all these other different things. I was like, yo, this is just too many holes. It's too messy. And like, you need concrete, solidified evidence to go ahead and arrest this guy. Yeah. And so when they came to this verdict, I was like, oh, wow. All right. Then, you know, it is what it is. So that was my initial thing. I know Kenny, when I was talking with Kenny was on the side of, and I'll let him explain, but one of the things he kind of told me that I was still kind of confused, he was like, he agrees with the verdict, but he also agrees that Meg was wrong on a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I don't know. If you agree with the verdict, I almost feel like you gotta alleviate any blame or any shots taken, no pun intended, at Meg. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I almost feel like, what you just said was, even though you feel that they came to a verdict, you feel like the truth is still not being told. And that's I guess, like, we can even dialogue about this, because I want to ask you guys this question, because I think I feel that way. I think I feel what you said, right? Yeah. But the question is, are you allowed to say that, given the fact that a black woman is crying out saying, yes, I was shot by this man, right? Like, are you insensitive by saying, nah, I think you lied? I think you lied. I think the system got it wrong. I think Tory is being unjustly, put in jail, and he's going to be, you know, I think they said like 20, he could face up to 23 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is done if he gets that. So I almost want to say that, but it seems like in this day and age, you can't. Right now, if I were to tweet that, bro, oh man, they would be on my head about all that stuff. Yeah. Do you want me to answer that right now, Kenny, or you want to jump?
No, go ahead, bro. You got it. Yeah,
okay. You got it. Yeah, so I definitely err on the same side of when you say, like, if probably when this come out now, like, I expect that type of blowback, right? But I'm cool with that. Cause like I think you gotta see this twofold. You can't just see if you only seeing it from the side of protect black women. When somebody says something like that, it's gonna rub them the wrong way. But I'm just coming from an essence of seeing you have to put the truth above all. It can't just be the horse you have in a race. And because if I'm a black woman, I can see why I'm definitely more biased to that type of narrative. But if I'm a person that's seeking truth, no matter if I relate or look like that person, I put that above over that narrative and deal with what comes with that. If it's offensive, if it's rubs you the wrong way, just know my intentions is not to shun that voice of black women. I just think you also simultaneously have to lift up the people that are being unjustly accused, like, or being accused of things that necessarily didn't happen the way that this person has went on his stand and said. Because I look at just all the context clues and things even leading up to it, like how inconsistent were things being said to when it finally came down to people taking a stand. They stories changed and a lot of details were left out. So why wouldn't that be something I didn't take or factor in when it comes down to the actual act of this person shooting you and the charges that are being charged? I think I have to keep the same energy with that, and I'm being fair. And if the one thing I can't do is look at Tory and see all the inconsistencies, because he didn't give me any. He didn't give me anything where he went on a public interview and said something that you then find out in court wasn't true. You know, he didn't give me all the takes that went on IG Live of you doing a lot of things that were behavioral, telling of what it looked like you were trying to do to this guy. And maybe, I can't say it's definite, but it looked like somebody that was hurt from a situation. They feelings got the best of them, and they turned that into trying to ruin somebody's life now and wasn't trying to seek the truth. Because if my best friend did such and such, I think that should be the person that really was being accused of doing this act and the charges that were after them. So, you know, I think when you make a take like that, I think you definitely got to expect that. And, you know, that's
and even,
you know,
and but like people knowing that you're such a big Tory fan too,
right?
Like, how do you communicate
that without
what you
seeing
feel
bias?
Without seeming like, come on, word. Of course, you're gonna not want him locked up and yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying?
What our answer to that is look, I never went out and publicly said Meg is a straight liar. I didn't. I got a reaction channel. I never stopped reacting to her music or intaking her offerings of music. I didn't make it because, like, if you've been watching this podcast, I'm not a believer in cancellation. I'm more, like I say, I keep on saying, a path of correction. Like, I'm not on her trying to campaign and have others say, go cancel Meg. No, I'm making decisions on my own, and I'm cool with that. So it's going to be hard coming from somebody that's a Tory fan, but I'll just point to other things, how I still supported these people. You know what I mean? Like, I have no reason to feel like, even though this person may be caught up in a situation that paint somebody in the light that I like, I still ain't gonna be biased to the point where the truth hasn't came out and I just start to cancel them because they facing off with one another. Like, no, I'm still believing, like, based off of the facts or what was the verdict and the details in it, it's a lot of unanswered things that I think we may never know. You know what I mean? So, what you got, Kenny?
Yeah, no, like, I think for me, bro, I think it's a nuanced situation. I think kind of like what I was telling Los on the phone, it's weird because when it comes to nuance, people are oftentimes in these situations looking for black and white, but you can't always provide it, right? So in this situation, two things can be true. I believe we don't have the full story. There's some details. There's the way that Meg's people, there's the way that she, and there's the way that her counsel and everybody else who's involved in her legal team, and even certain things that were allowed in court that lead us to believe that we don't have the full story about what exactly transpired, who all was involved, and that some of the things that were said toward Tory from the standpoint of severity were, like, embellished. We do, I think we can understand that. While also saying, bro, like, the evidence we do have, and I think that the jury worked off of to provide a conviction in the sentencing, is one that is troublesome, right? And one that, like, I feel like with what they had to use, puts us in this position where Tory's, now, facing charges, then, later be sentenced, all that good stuff. So the difficulty in that, I think, is the part that I'm saying, like, I can agree that I do think that the people utilized what they had, came to a judgment that I believe was fair based on the resources that were provided, while also saying, man, it doesn't seem like we have the full story, and it does seem like there may have been things that Tory was involved in, that maybe aren't being told to its fullest extent, or made to be more incriminating than they should have been, which thus tax on the extra sentencing, tax on the severity of the penalty, tax on how we look at Tory as an individual, tax on the opinion that we can have about how it transpired, how much is an accident, how much was relationally, them being involved romantically, how much, like, we don't know all of those things. And so because of that, it's like, I respect the decision while also realizing that there were some things that I didn't necessarily like getting the play-by-play, getting the information that we have as a public, and feeling like maybe there were some aspects in which he got a raw deal, while respecting that they had to do it. They had a job to do, and that's just what it comes down to. So I think it's nuanced in that space. It's sad
Kenny,
because
you're on the side. Kenny, you're on the side, but you do believe that Tory should be in jail and that Tory shot her.
I'll say this, bro. Obviously, I don't know for certain. I don't. But what I will say is,
that's what you're leaning towards.
I'm leaning towards that. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. Now, the factors involved, the details, and even what we're looking at. Because here's the thing: this changes drastically if there's an aspect. Because I know one theory came out that originally started was Tory didn't send the first shots, but later got a hold of the gun while being saucy and started shooting, things of that nature. If the person you're trying to protect, in this case her being her friend, sent harmful shots at you, and the other person happened to shoot the gun, in this theory would be Tory, and there's not somebody trying to inflict harm, but things of that nature, like how we look at this situation and how we would talk about it, go from protect black women to, oh no, this is like a dispute between two black women, and this individual happened to do something stupid, but not something that should get him into a position where public opinion should drag him through the mud. You see what I'm saying? So regardless of the actual details, though, I do think what is true is at some point that boy got a hold of the gun, at some point he shot, and the reckless endangerment charge is a real charge, bro. Like, yeah, you go to jail for that.
But you believe he shot her?
Huh?
You believe he shot her, or you're on the fence about it?
Her story is that he was purposely trying to injure and harm her.
Right. Now, what I am saying is this.
Me and Word don't believe that.
The intent is debatable. The action, I am leaning towards actually happened. That's what I'm saying, and that's what makes this difficult, because it's like, could he not have had the intent to shoot that girl? Probably, maybe. But I'm saying we don't know that for certain on either side, so I'm not willing to speculate there. But do I believe he shot her? Yeah, dog. Yeah. At some point.
Kenny, Kenny, look. I'm gonna just tell you that me and Word, we're still gonna be listening to Playboy, and you just got to deal with that, bro. So.
Yeah. That's where we can get into a conversation. Because if people took a route where they were trying to tell me that based off of what happened in this case, I need to stop listening to this dude, you'll be out of your mind. Like, it was way too many.
But word. No. I would say this though.
Go ahead.
I know what you're about to get, right? Rape. If an artist was touching little kids or something like that, I agree with you. But I'm just letting you know, be prepared, because the fact that he is going to jail and the whole story is that he shot Meg.
Right.
He tried to injure or bring harm to a black woman. If they even want to go as far as like, yo, you know what? He tried to do whatever it was. They're gonna want to look at you weird if you're supporting any of his music, even if, let's say, because you know an artist like Tory, I'm pretty sure he has, catalogs on the computer that even when he's locked up, he's going to be able to still drop some music. They're going to look at you, Word, and say, yo, why are you still supporting this man after he did this? What would your response be?
I was just about to get it to. I'm like, bro, being that I followed, like I've never followed any other case or trial to the detail that I've followed to this, right? And I'm still waiting for like the official transcripts because everybody that was reporting on it, there was always a gloss of kind of like they bias or just kind of they take on it. But if you follow this case, bro, and you believe that anybody can come away with a strong belief of what actually happened to the point where it's big enough to make a hard decision like cancel that person or stop listening to their music or to remove their music from digital outlets, I would say you really didn't pay attention to the details. You just blindly believing, you of the belief of like blindly believing a black woman at that point, right? And I'm not that type of person. I'm a person that's going to investigate and look at the details for myself and make my own decision from that. So, and as long as I did that work, I think I'm standing on the fact that I did that work, and I'm not just doing it because I'm a Tory fan. I'm not doing it from just a Tory fan standpoint. It's because I did the work of following it. And yeah, like it ain't from just like blindly believing.
They're gonna tell you the court did the work.
And I'll say the court has done. I'll say the court has done.
What work have you done that the court didn't do? That's what they're gonna tell you.
I'll say the court has done niggas like me done horrendously for years.
Come on.
I mean, if you think that if you want to look at all the cases they done got wrong and people personally that cats know in real life, like come on now, like I don't put my trust in the government. You know what I'm saying?
Here's my question though. My question is even with that being the case, is clearly wrongful conviction being, as a black man in America is nothing new, bro. I'm with you on it. My question to you is, how much different would your approach be if Meg Thee Stallion was a family member or someone close by, a black woman who was in your life making these claims? And you couldn't necessarily verify them because you weren't there. You're hearing it secondhand, just like the rest of us are. But you're being told this about a black woman who's in your life who you care about. And now insert that woman, whoever you have in your head, and go from there. And she were making these claims. Would it be still, hey bro, I did my due diligence, I'm still jamming homie music, or would it be different in that space?
Fortunately, bro, I know a lot of stories for some people is, they family doesn't make them they family. Like you talking about blood or whatever. Like what I was gonna say is like I have real roots and family ties with my family that are well on good terms. I can go to their house. I love them to death, such and such. But I don't put it past anybody that they can come away with making up stories or being as inconsistent as you saying. Like if they was a family member and was saying all the things that came out about this case and Meg and the lies like that, you saying all that they adopt all that and they happen to be my family member.
Yeah,
I'm saying if they fit all of that.
Not even family. Let's not even say family. Let's say a black woman you care about comes to you with this scenario. I'm talking about something you really got love for.
Right.
And everything that's transpired, you weren't there, so you can't verify any of this.
Yeah.
But she's coming to you the same way Mega's come to the media, to the public, to you. This entire time. The case winds out how it winds out. Blah 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 blah. And I'm saying from that standpoint, does your disposition towards Lane's change, your support of him change in light of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, does that allow you to move differently, or does it make you move differently at all?
Yeah, the only thing it affects, bro, is it becomes a harder relationship between me and that person. That's it. But I would still have the same type of position, I guess, that if you asking that I have in this case. It'll just make it harder because they're dear to me. They're dear to me, and I have a relationship with that person. So it's very easy for me to come across and say this about Meg or anybody in the media because I don't have a relationship. But it'll just create more difficulty. But, if somebody's adopting the type of lies and the things that have came out of this case, bro, I'm not going to just dumb myself down to believe in it because of the relationship I have with them. It'll be difficult, but I'm not, I'm well developed in my thinking and maturity to still come away with what I've come away with this case. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it is be more difficult. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with that.
Yeah, man, it's What y'all think about their careers, man? Like, can she come out with a song talking about vagina after this, or can he come out with a song?
Yeah, I was wondering. I actually have more questions
Los
about Meg's
woke up.
career.
Los woke up.
Nah, like I was actually more curious to see how. Like, I'm more curious to see how Meg's career goes moving forward than I am about Tory's. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Tory is doing time, I mean, Tory's just doing time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just and I kind of expect his career to drop and all that stuff. I just have a little more questions. Like, how does the community kind of support her moving forward? I know she has a machine with Rock Nation behind her and stuff like that, but it just doesn't seem like it's gonna go that well. I also don't think though, because I know privately we spoke and you said you kind of feel like Tory is going to be looked at as, or he's going to be in the same space as Chris Brown, where it was kind of tough early on. And obviously Chris has kind of came over the hump, even though obviously anytime, Chris has any success, you'll find some trolls in the comments like, look what he did with Rihanna, yada, yada. This situation, I would admit though, I do think it's going to be a little more difficult for Tory. One, only because he wasn't as, you would agree, he wasn't as big as Chris Brown, right?
Nah, by any measure, he wasn't.
And then two, the fact that there's a weapon involved, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's going to be a little more difficult for Tory to, let's say, the time gets reduced, or let's say by some miracle, you know what I'm saying, like he's able to kind of just come out and whatnot. I just think it's going to be a little more difficult for Tory to get on the road, for Tory to find success as far as like selling albums and stuff. Like, there's people who's going to listen to him because he just makes some amazing music.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what space he's going to be in. Like, it's going to be tricky for some people to do features with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people might have some reservations. Like, as soon as Chris Brown got out of that situation, the biggest artist, Wayne, he kept doing records with Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Wayne was in his prime at that time. Yep. So I just don't know what that looks like for Tory. But for Meg, I think I have a lot more questions for Meg, because it just seems like people are split down the middle on what to do with her.
Nah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be smooth selling for Meg after this. Like, if they believe this was gonna be Rihanna 2.0, I don't see it going that way at all. You know what I mean? I think Rihanna was very much more beloved. She was more of a pop world. That's, you can kind of see where they was gonna take her after that stuff happened, and they did. And then you just got to look at the talent level. Like, she just doesn't make music like Rihanna. Like, this has nothing to do with this case, bro. I feel like Megan had all the elements to be the next person that'll be like in place of where Nicki kind of existed for a while. She had all the elements. Like, she could actually rap. Yeah. You know what I mean? She was,
sex appeal.
Sex appeal. I don't know if she, I know she claimed to write her lyrics, but I know it's been rumors, but she had all of those boxes checked off, right? It's just that she started to lack a lot of range with her subject matter. The song was coming out. It was the same song each time. And then it just took a nosedive with the quality. So this case has only created more stuff to pile on. And like, if you believe what I believe about her music and how her career took a nosedive, this is only something else to just throw on top of that as well, to kind of make people feel even more ill about her. If you actually her friend, I guess, in real life, if you somebody that supported her music, and she's been, because it ain't just been like women versus dudes in this whole case. It's been a lot of women that's feeling the way about Meg too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and be coming up with some harsh takes. So yeah, I don't suspect it to be a smooth selling career that just takes off. I think the greatest,
even though Rock Nation is behind her.
Even though Rock Nation's behind her, bro. I mean, when you look at her first weeks, bro, she's doing horrendous numbers. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know nobody in real life that ever seen Megan Thee Stallion live. I'm just being
Nah, Kenny, that's a fact though, bro.
I'm just trying to look at the stuff that I look at for any other artist. Like, how do they sell? How do you ever seen her show? Like, do she got, I mean...
That man said, I don't know nobody in real life.
I think a lot of people we would want to see her just to throw some ass, but we would not see her for the music, honestly. Like, I have to keep it a bean, and I'm keeping it a bean because that's it. I think she came in the game nice. after that, the quality and where she took it just never trended the way it was at first.
Yeah.
What you think though, Kenny? How you think her career gonna go, man?
It depends. There's one route that keeps her afloat and even allows her to garner a bunch of attention that she otherwise wouldn't. And so if she uses this card, she'll be fine. But it's the only card I feel like she can use. If I'm her PR guy, I'm saying to her, okay, wait till this conviction is handed out. Bam, once we get the sentencing, you're gonna have to change public perception at this point. But it's now shown that he's guilty by the court of law. So here's what you need to do: 1 or 2 records as a tell-it-all. So now that you can speak about it, I need you to give your details from this side, like a Usher's Confessions. I need you to do that in a record to build up anticipation, so that people feel like they've gotten your side of the story. Because this is the thing, one thing that will never fail, and the reason why Shade Room will forever be one of the biggest media outlets we have, is people love gossip and tea, bro, and people are messy. Like, that's just the reality of the situation.
That's
you
right.
play off of that in this world.
If it's done right, though, Kenny,
it gotta be done. Yeah.
When Tory came out with that project right after all of this, right?
Daystar,
and we all ran to it. Like, what was it?
Daystar.
First of all, not only did we want to, we want to hear Tory's side of this, like this relationship that he's talking about with Meg and all this other stuff. But my thing is, like, we know that he's capable of doing it.
That's it right there.
When you get that clip of Tory in the studio and he's telling, I forgot who he's talking to, he's like, I'm nicer than all these niggas. You know what I'm saying? When he's saying that, I believe Tory. Like, I'm like, yo, he really is nicer than everybody. He's not bigger than everybody. He's nicer than everybody. But like, that's because he could put a melodic ballad together, bro. He can go ahead and rap. He can go ahead and do all this stuff, put together a story that I want to sit down and I want to listen to it. Meg, unfortunately, if she does say, hey, you know what? I'm going to tell it all about the truth about me and Tory's relationship. Granted, there is going to be this desire to go ahead and just hear it. But I'd rather her just do a podcast if that's the case. I'd rather just do an interview on, link up with, like, Joe Rogan or something like that. If you want to just and get a percentage of those,
Angela
Martinez,
Martinez,
be better for you. Yeah, like if you get a percentage of those YouTube numbers and stuff like that, that's just better that way. Because I just don't think that Meg has the artistry to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying for sure. I think also, matter of fact, I lied. There's one more route that she could take if she's not going to do that one. And this is another one. This is another one that probably is even safer than the one I just mentioned. Because I agree with what she's saying, Los. And the other thing I thought about while you were talking was, could she take the Black Girls United, We of the World, turn up and let's celebrate Black women and melanin and skin route? And let me tell you, that route's going to win every time, no matter who she is. So to me, that's the safer bet to take. Of like, I mean, even if you did a, when Macklemore made the same Love record and he was trying to appeal to the LGBTQ movement, you take that movement, you get a singer to sing the hook about, like, we need to be protected, something like that. You get a dope vocalist, somebody that everybody respects, talking about, protection, whatever the case may be. Bam, you put 2 verses on it talking about how scarred you are and how much you need love and protection and how the Black woman is the least protected, being in the world and all of that. And she right back on top, bro. And then she could talk about twerking and everything else she want to talk about.
Not on top.
Yeah, because I'm about to say right back. I mean, I don't know if she ever been on. But man, look, you talking about her PR team, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, she need to get rid of that PR team. That PR team, bro, has been putting her through all kind of torture, bro, since all of this stuff has happened, bro. And I believe they've been making some horrible. Man, somebody was telling me, bro, they felt like at one point in the case, they felt like they were just feeding her to the wolves and they was just trying to throw this mug on purpose, bro. Like, that's how I felt at one point, because stuff started going so like y'all, like, bro, they waited all these years to start their opening statements off with dance, bitch, dance. Like, it was nothing new, but yeah, man, like, I don't know, man, her career, bro. Yeah, I said I hope she don't make another Vagina song. It's just that she just needs to get her quality back, bro. Like, stop making the same songs over and over. And because you giving all these routes she could take, but I just don't like for people to be doing things that they not authentically wanting to do, because it'll be so easy to see. Like, are you talking about the whole Unite Black Girl or the whole Tell All? Like, this would be the third story we got from her. Like, and it's probably gonna be a different version. Like, I don't want no, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it'll
all I'm saying is, listen, Meg. What people forget also is that Meg has a Beyonce trump card. She could probably call in at any time. And that covers a multitude of sins in the music industry, bro. If she does this right,
does she have that card?
I don't know about that Trump, but they be.
Does she have that card?
I believe she probably does, bro. And
you think she has that pool that she could call Beyonce anytime, bro?
I don't know about that.
I'm talking about
especially after this mess.
For a black girl empowerment record. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does.
Let me make one thing
I would
clear,
actually
man.
be shocked if she didn't.
I know it's one thing that I don't get confused with her. You know, no matter how much I love anything, it's no reason to be going at Jay-Z. Like, the people that's going at Jay, like, and all that, you can't prove that Jay did anything to make any of this stuff happen, right? Like, he owns Rock Nation, and all Rock Nation is doing is arming their artists with the best lawyers they can get. That's what they supposed to do. So, like, everybody that was attacking Jay, that was
Tory's dad, right?
That was Tory dad. Yeah, I'm saying. But even before I seen that though, it was already commentary that was going on prior to that on the internet. Like, he was trending worldwide before that even, you know what I'm saying, took a life of his own. But yeah, man. Yeah,
don't let Jay get on the record with Meg. Don't let Jay get on the record with Meg.
I don't even want to hear that. Now that sounds disgusting, bro.
It might be a rap, right?
That sounds disgusting.
I'm telling you that changed.
But you know what? The way that Tory operates, I believe he got anything in the vault that's ready for anything that comes after this. I tell you that one thing. He's one of the most trusted artists when it comes to musicality, bro. Like, I believe he's ready. They said he took it like a G dog. He ain't flinch. He ain't, do anything that made it seem like he didn't know what was coming, unless he was just froze. Like, that was another thing. Like, maybe he was just froze. But even they say his pops like lost it and he was trying to calm him down. Like, you gotta have some type of composure to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they said when everybody was going crazy, he just I think the writer has said all he did was look at his son and he did this.
Yeah.
He just tapped his chest to his son and he was like, "Don't worry."
Yeah. So, I mean, but when it kind of so his career,
it felt like John Q.
You crazy, man? Come on. Hey, you gotta be. The way he views things, just know he feel like this just probably making the story even greater, man. It's probably tough to view it like that, but man, trust me, man, it's crazy to face 20 anything almost in the face. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right, that part.
Prayers up for that dude, man, for sure, man.